Video gamers are weird. Some think graphics makes a game good, some think a game is shit if it doesn't include guns, and some can play a game entirely because of its music. I'm one of those people. But don't get me wrong, I love Xenoblade Chronicles 2 for a lot of different reasons. It is my personal game of the year, and I played a lot of great games this year. But this soundtrack, dude, it is one of those soundtracks you only get to experience once in a blood moon. Unless you purchase like 50 games in a year, that is. And even then. The soundtrack of Xenoblade Chronicles 2 has a fantastic spectre of different music genres and executes them all in such a fashion that it sounds totally believable and fitting for the corresponding environments. This soundtrack is a benchmark in video game music, and I want to express all my positive emotions attached to this soundtrack by talking about my top 20 favorite tracks from it. Remember that I am by no means a music expert, but I will do my best to explain and portray how these themes make me feel, just like in previous videos. Keep in mind that this list is based entirely off personal preferences, but I can wholeheartedly say that there is no bad music from this game. So all music that isn't on the list are still deeply loved. Feel free to tell me what's your favorite theme down in the comments. But Titan's Foot, I've been talking for way over a minute already, so let's stop smacking and let's start cracking. Number 20. Gormuth Lover Levels. Let me shortly tell you where I came from when I started this game. Outside of Pokemon, I have never played a proper JRPG in my life. That made coming into Xenoblade Chronicles a very new experience for me, which as a result makes this theme even the more magical and nostalgic. This track may not be on everyone's top 20 lists, but I am personally so attached to it. Coming back to the lower levels of Gormuth after having finished the main story honestly made me so nostalgic. This music reminds me of the wonder and excitement I felt when exploring this lush, wondrous landscape for the first time, and everything I had to look forward to. It reminds me of my first proper JRPG, and I can't help but appreciate that. JRPGs are certainly not for everyone, but I am so glad it is something for me. Number 19. The Kingdom of Uriah. In terms of just overall aesthetics, Uriah is my favorite Titan by a good margin. Exploring the interior of this gigantic whale-looking Titan was one of the most memorable moments in the game for me. The colorful aesthetics of the landscape mixed with the glowing red particles dancing through the air and the sight of Fonsamima glowing in the horizon, well, I think the footage speaks for itself. This music is extremely relaxing, but it also portrays the pretty aesthetics of this gigantic Titan's interior. My only tiny complaint about this theme is that it's a little bit too repetitive, making the melody lose its effect after a while, and that may be the reason for why it's not higher on the list. Number 18. Boss Battle Zeke. Zeke is a great character. He is goofy, strong, and at the same time surprisingly wise. I can wholeheartedly say that no character in this game made me laugh as much as Zeke, or Zeke von Gembu, if you will. Only thing I don't like about him is that all the girls love him. It's making me jealous, man. But his theme though, it sounds like the theme of a goofy superhero, which is incredibly convenient. It perfectly fits his heroic yet goofy personality so good. Even though it might not be the most melodic battle theme in the game, I give it a spot for its uniqueness and how it fits the character. And because the Zekinator is awesome. Number 17. Land of Moritha. I often see people discussing which moments from this game made them cry, and often it is some kind of cutscene moment like when Pyra says goodbye or when Vandam dies, but to me, no moment or sequence made me as close to tears as this one. The Land of Moritha honestly left such a huge impact on me, and really shone a light on a topic I'd been thinking about a lot at the time. Will all of this technology really be good for us, or will it destroy us? This place visualizes the worst possible outcome, and it is heartbreaking to see. And hear. This is one of the few tracks in this game that prioritizes atmosphere over epicness, which was a breath of fresh air and resulted in the theme being even more impactful on me. Portraying negative emotions in music while still making it enjoyable is not always an easy task, but this theme nails it. I especially applaud the part where the singer comes in. Her beautiful voice makes me imagine an angel looking down at this broken land in sorrow. It is so darn depressing. Number 16, the Leftherian Archipelago. One of the things I loved the most about Xenoblade Chronicles 2 was the huge variety in landscapes and nature. Each and every titan had a unique and special trademark that made it feel like a totally new experience getting there. Running around and exploring all these different titans and landscapes was therefore always a joy. Even though the Leftherian Archipelago might not be the richest region in terms of activities and hidden treasures, it makes up for that with its sheer beauty. Both visual and, well, in the way that it looks good. The beautiful islands, gorgeous waters, colorful creatures and the sight of the cloud sea stretching as far as the eye could see, all corresponded perfectly to this amazing composition. Number 15, Alba Cavendish. The sheer epicness of this theme gets me pumped. It fits to what Alba Cavendish and Moradin is, a majestic royal empire prepared for war. This entire track makes me imagine a load of armed soldiers getting ready for battle, which is very convenient. The track is filled with awesome transitions, but still feels consistent, making it feel like the theme is always going to hit a new high. Which it does. It is very impressive how the same melody is being played on and on, but is played in so many variations that you almost don't recognize it. My favorite part is when the track hits this crescendo here and really amps it up. It is so powerful and makes me want to sign up for the army right now. I think it is the drums that does it. Take a listen. I don't think many people would put this music so high, but I can't grow tired of it. Number 14, Funset Village. From the very beginning of this game, we were always told about Funset Village. And just from the clues we got that Rex was sending money there, we could imply a lot. All the talk about this place made me paint an imaginary picture in my head of how this place would look like. I imagined a very small town where people didn't have much money but still loved each other and got around their daily duties with a smile on their faces. This virtual picture I had made up in my head made getting there for real even better, because Funset Village was just like I had imagined it in my head. A peaceful village where we always was welcomed and could feel at home. A beautiful place unbothered by war and hate. All this made Funset Village feel like home, even though I had never seen the place before. This music made that possible, and I can't praise it enough for that. I was originally going to put Garfont Village on this spot, but after listening to the music of Funset for a while, I have no regret putting this one on instead. But Garfont is great too. Number 13, Drifting Souls. It is hard to talk over someone singing, so I'll try to keep this one short. But this song, dude, it is a great mix between sad and uplifting, making it really effective at giving me some real shivers. The lyrics of this song are great, describing how hard it can be to move on without having any real purpose for why, which is a question we all ask ourselves sometimes. Why do we even exist? I know this is one of the most popular themes in the game for a great majority of people, and a lot of people would probably have wanted to see this theme even higher on the list. Number 12, Boss Battle Malos. That bass, those transitions, that theme. I honestly don't know where to start with this one. Talk about making you feel pumped for a battle. This shit is so intense and makes you want to give it your all. Considering it is mostly played when you fight Malos, it is fitting how much this theme makes you want to fight. Malos is an asshole, and you want to do everything in your power to give him the proper punishment for that. A very common problem in today's battle themes is that they can tend to loop very fast, ending up with them feeling repetitive. But this theme is full of great transitions that prevents the theme from sounding repetitive or stale. Because despite this theme's very rocky nature, my favorite part of the song comes 3 minutes in, when the music suddenly takes a break in its intensity and this beautiful sequence of violins and acoustic guitars plays. I love that part because it reflects you and your foe's state during the battle. The battle have been lasting for a good while, and both you and your enemy has come to the conclusion that defeating the foe will be no easy task. I bet you didn't saw this one coming. Number 11, Boss Battle Rosa. I gotta applaud how well this theme reflects the absurdness of the battle with Rosa. Banna took an artificial blade and just made it bigger. That's the stupidest yet cleverest idea ever. I love how fun and upbeat this theme is. This is so different from any other battle theme from this game, which makes it stand out more than themes like Unique Monster Battle or Driver Battle. Sure, I love those themes too, but I feel like I need to give this theme some attention for being so darn unique. It sounds like an 80s anime opening or something. Very retro, which is so fitting for this sequence. Number 10, The World Tree. The World Tree was not like I expected it to be at all. But it really doesn't matter because it was even cooler than I expected it to be. The technological setting of the tree was so creative, which made exploring the interior of this thing very interesting. But fuck these things though. Anyway, I can't get over how unique this track is. I've never heard anything like it in my life before, but I love it so much. It is an interesting twist for the rest of the soundtrack, borrowing a much more modern sound when compared to other themes. The real high point of the theme hits when the guitar starts playing though, and the song turns into a funky reggae track. It makes the track sound very climactic, which of course is fitting because this is a very climactic moment. My interpretation is that the crescendo of the track, where the track hits the climax, is supposed to portray the long tiresome climb up the tree, while the singing on the other hand is more of a representation of the overwhelming view from the gigantic artificial tree. Number 9, Boss Battle Jin. This music plays for one of the most conflicting battles in the game. Jin is a broken man, which you don't really get a sense of until this particular battle. This fight with Jin is the first time you get a good hint at what he really is, a wrecked man. You see, the first time you fight Jin, it is just a normal battle theme that plays, while the second time, it's this. I think that can have something to do with the fact that this is the fight where he starts showing his true emotions. The first time where you can see that deep down, he's struggling. The game very clearly underlines that since the first time you fight him, he is using his mask, which as any mask does, hides his feelings. But in the second battle, there is no mask, and maybe that is why his emotions are reflected much more in the theme. You can finally see his eyes properly, and therefore also get a better understanding of how he really feels. Eyes can be deceiving, you know. And as we see, music can too. The very heavy use of violins are perfect for conveying the immense pain and sadness Jin feels in his heart. This isn't just any other battle theme. This isn't just a strong foe. This is the theme of a broken man that has been hiding his feelings for way too long. Number 8. The Ancient Vessel. This track is immensely beautiful, but also atmospheric, portraying the old and ancient, yet pure and beautiful aesthetics of the ancient vessel. Now, what I love about this track though, is that it doesn't only fit the aesthetics of the location, it also portrays the last moment before Rex meets the Aegis. This music portrays the point in the story where Rex is about to find the most powerful weapon in the world, the moment before the entire world will be against him. This track is a portrayal of Rex's last moment of innocence, which is why it is so calm, peaceful and beautiful. It is the last moment of true and responsible youth Rex will ever have, and therefore the music chooses to be pure and beautiful, just like youth. This track has a very strong meaning to it, and I love music that has something important to convey. Number 7. Battle. Considering how many times I've heard this theme, it's pretty crazy how I'm not tired of it yet. Sure, it doesn't make me feel as pumped as it used to, but that's how it is with all music that you hear very frequently. When I first heard this theme though, I was honestly about to cry. It is very rare so heavy music makes me that emotional, but there is just something about this theme that gets to me. This is exactly what I want a general battle theme to sound like, and maybe that is why it's so impactful on me. There is especially a one little sequence I love though. It is probably my favorite sequence in any battle theme ever, and I think you can understand which one it is. Honestly, it makes my pants wet. Take a listen. Number 6. Elysium in a Blue Sky. Title screen music is extremely important. They are the pieces of music that is supposed to make the player think back to the respective game and feel some kind of positive emotion. That's why good games often have very iconic title tracks, which makes their fans look back at the game and think, what a great game this is. Just look at Zelda Ocarina of Time, or Halo, or even Xenoblade Chronicles. All of these games have extremely iconic and emotional title tracks that every fan will recognize within seconds. Elysium in a Blue Sky is that type of track. When creating a title track, it is the composer's choice to what the song will try to convey. Some title tracks sound super hardcore, which would fit in a shooter or an action game. Some sound very fun and some sound subtle and beautiful. This is one of the beautiful ones. The delicate sound of the track fits to the picture of the Titans floating around the sea of clouds. It makes you think of the pureness as well as the beauty of Allrest, and all there is to explore. Title screens as well as tracks are extremely underrated, and this game nails both the screen and the music. Morardane's music makes Zelda Breath of the Wild soundtrack sound like a mistake. Now don't get me wrong, I really like Zelda Breath of the Wild soundtrack, but comparing Breath of the Wild soundtrack to Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is like comparing this to this. Morardane, or Roaming the Wastes, is one of the best overworld themes I have ever heard in a video game. How can a theme even be this epic? It is so catchy and powerful, full of awesome transitions, and uses a wide range of different instruments so that it continues to feel epic throughout its cycle. The only thing that makes me not put this even higher is the fact that it doesn't particularly fit a deserted area. Like, I don't see how this music have any reminiscence of a deserted wasteland whatsoever. But it really doesn't bother me. I'd forgive a theme like this in any setting, cause this is godlike. Number 4. Boss Battle Torna. One of the biggest strengths with Xenoblade Chronicles 2's soundtrack lies in its battle themes. All of the battle themes are amazing, and it is very hard selecting only a handful of them, because I would want all of them to be on the list. However, no theme can come as close to perfection as the boss battle against Akos, Mikhail and Petroka. This is perfection. The emotions it conveys is amazing and so relevant for the battle itself. Just listen to the fucking intro. It sounds like some kind of shouting or even dog barking. It is scarcely intimidating and really sets up a tension-filled vibe. It is crazy how all of these guys turned out to be good guys after all, or at least deep within. They are good guys that did bad things. Well, until the last chapter at least. At that point they were all basically good guys. What a lot of music in the game is playing on is using extremely high notes in order to convey strong emotion, and this one is no different. Just listen to how high this tone goes. Number 3. Gormut. This is without a doubt the gore planes of Xenoblade Chronicles 2. And while I still prefer gore planes music-wise, it is not by a large margin. This song represents the overwhelming feeling of getting out of the lower levels of Gormut and seeing this flourishing landscape for the first time. But hey, it wouldn't be as memorable if it wasn't for this masterpiece of a theme. I love this track so incredibly much. It sounds so adventurous, so grand and lighthearted. It is very hard to grow tired of this theme, since it is so long and never repeats itself. It constantly brings new fresh elements to the table, which prevents the theme from getting stale or boring. In one second it plays this melody, and the next it is totally different. It actually has a very convenient effect, as it perfectly reflects exploring this gigantic area that never ceases to surprise. It requires a great deal of effort and creativity to make such a long and great track. Only a genius could come up with such a theme. I can therefore say that the composer of Xenoblade Chronicles 2 are geniuses. Number 2. The Kingdom of Tantal. The thing with Xenoblade Chronicles 2 was that I always thought the soundtrack couldn't get any better, but every single time it exceeded my expectations. This theme is better than Snowy Valak Mountain, it is better than Route 216 from Pokemon, it is better than Snow Peak from Zelda Twilight Princess. Now come at me! At this point in the story, I really didn't think they could come up with an overall theme as good as Gormut or Moradane, but oh boy was I wrong. The Kingdom of Tantal just blew me out of the stratosphere with its music. The only problem is that I can't decide if I like the day or night theme more. Both the day and night version represents a snowbound isolated landscape perfectly, but in two different ways. The night theme represents a cold isolated atmosphere even better than the day theme. It is much more calm and subtle, which is reminiscent of the silent nature of this area. The synth used makes me think of falling snow, and the acoustic guitars really conveys the loneliness of this winter wonderland perfectly. It makes me imagine a lonely old man sitting in a somewhat cold cabin playing his guitar in harmony. The day theme, on the other hand, is surprisingly intense, sounding like something is very urgent. The reason is most likely because it was made for when Genbu is sinking. It is made to represent the urgency of finding the Omega Fetter and stop this Titan from dying. This game has an amazing soundtrack, and I don't think I will ever grow tired of it. That's because there are so incredibly much good music in this game, and I feel really bad for not being able to talk about all these tracks, cause I really love them. Moray Day Not Night and Spirit Crucible Elfis are great examples of all the music in this game that manages to sound harmonic, yet stands to be very impactful and atmospheric. I love to just go for a walk and play this in the background, if I need to stress down for a little. This game is scattered with amazing cutscene music, and I'm sure a lot of you guys will want to see more of them on the list. Unfortunately, cutscene music is harder to listen to for long periods of time, and they appear so rarely in the game, so that's why I chose to leave most of them out. But I can wholeheartedly say that all the cutscene music in this game is amazing. The battle themes though. I'm gonna be honest, I have never been witness to a single game with as many varied and amazing battle themes as this one. Some of my big favorites that wasn't on this list is Unique Monster Battle, Last Boss theme, a Mouthless battle theme, a track titled Exploration, Awakening, and more. I can't say the name of every single one, but know that I appreciate every single one of them. Lastly, I need to give a shout out to them vocal songs that plays in both cutscenes and different towns and cities. Especially the ending theme really made a big impression on me, and I know a lot of people love that theme. Also the music in the Indoline Praetorium and not least the city of Thessoar are masters at establishing atmosphere. Of course I really like other town themes as well, especially Torrigoth, the Argentum Trade Guild, and as mentioned Garfont are really great. Okay, I think that's enough honorable mentions. Now that we're closing in on our number 1 spot, I want you to do something for me. I want you to close your eyes and just focus on what you're about to hear. Okay? Let's go. Number 1. Counterattack. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 was a great journey. We won on the best video game stories I have ever been involved in, a great combat system, and amazing environments. But for me, the music tops it all. And this track is the crown jewel of all that. I feel like this track almost works as a mashup of all the varied and awesome tracks we got to hear in Xenoblade Chronicles 2. It has so many different variations that swings from hardcore rock parts to beautiful piano sequences. It is no wonder this theme was used only in the most epic cutscenes in the game. It is a track that needs to be treated with respect, caution and love. It is not often music can make its own creator cry, which says something about this soundtrack. And if there is one song from this game that the composer must have cried to, I think it is this. One of the best signs of a great soundtrack is when you look through the comment sections for the different themes on YouTube, and on every single track there is someone saying that it is their favorite theme from the game. It proves how many great and lovable tracks this game has. For me though, nothing beats Counterattack. This is my favorite theme for my favorite soundtrack of the year, and I think that deserves respect. Now listen to this. Well, that's that. Thank you so much for watching. You have no idea how much I appreciate it. I really put my heart and soul into making this video, so please leave a like if you want me to know that you appreciated the hard work I put into it. If you want to see more videos similar to this, make sure to subscribe and click the bell notification icon so you won't miss any of my upcoming videos. And hey, remember to tell me what's your favorite tracks from this game down in the comments. I'm curious to see which tracks you guys like, so feel free to let me know. I think that's about it guys. So long, Deku Seeds.